The reason why a lot of parents fear sleep training is because of the phrase "cry it out." This approach is advocated by a lot of Western sleep specialists and is readily available on the internet and in various sleep training books. As a result, a lot of parents decide against sleep training as they are led to believe that this is the best and the only way to sleep train a child. Additionally, in India, even if the parents are convinced, they feel it will be impossible to convince the child's parents to allow the child to cry. So let me explain how it all started. Back in 1985, a popular pediatrician called Richard Farber, through his book Solve Your Child's Sleep Problems, presented a method of getting the children to sleep. He advised that crying is an inevitable part of sleep training for some children. This led to the birth of the popular phrase "cry it out." Ironically, Dr. Farber himself never used the phrase "cry it out." So do parents really need to be afraid of this "cry it out"? In this video, I will explain what "cry it out" actually means and how to deal with it. I will also advise an alternate approach if parents are still uncomfortable with the "cry it out" approach. One of the most important reasons for sleep training a child is to eliminate his or her dependency on sleep props to fall asleep. As advised in my previous videos, eliminating sleep props is crucial to encourage self-soothing skills. Self-soothing skills are an important skill which teaches children to fall back to sleep on their own. If the child continues to remain dependent on sleep props, then the child will never learn to fall back to sleep on his or her own. So every time the child wakes up during the night, the child will begin to cry for the sleep prop instead of trying to go back to sleep. Crying it out creates a situation where the child is provided with an opportunity to fall back to sleep on his or her own, thereby encouraging self-soothing skills. Therefore, crying is an inevitable side effect as the child adjusts to sleep on his or her own and without any sleep props. As per therapists, the long-term benefits of teaching the child to fall back to sleep on their own easily outweighs the short-term pain of enduring a few tears. Hence, parents should not be afraid of this "cry it out" method. Different sleep experts advise different durations to allow the child to cry. However, the golden duration, as advised by most literature, is 10 minutes. You should take it one step at a time. Allow the child to cry for 3 minutes for the first night. Subsequently, increase it to 5 minutes the next night, and then progressively increase it each night till you reach 10 minutes. You should aim to reach the duration of 10 minutes within 5 days. Remember, stay strong and do not intervene and console your child before 10 minutes. This will not be easy, so keep reminding yourself that you are doing this for the betterment of your child. Parents often intervene thinking that their child has been crying for hours, while in reality it's only been a few minutes. It is understandable for parents to react this way. No parent wants to hear their child cry, and as a result, each passing minute will feel like an hour. Therefore, I recommend to use a stopwatch and set a timer for 10 minutes. If your child continues to cry after 10 minutes, then you should intervene and console your child immediately. There is enough evidence to suggest that 10 minutes of wait time almost always works. You need to follow this consistently for 1 week, post which you will be amazed to see the dramatic difference in the night awakenings. You will observe a significant decline in the interventions required to put your child back to sleep. Please do not feel guilty for allowing the child to cry, as it's only for the long-term benefit of your child. It's not going to be easy, The first few nights will be extremely difficult. However, good nights will soon follow. So prepare yourself for a few difficult nights for the many good nights to follow. Remember, consistency is the key. All effort will go in vain if you only follow it for certain nights and not all the nights. So follow it consistently for all the nights for at least 1 week. Do not start unless both you and the child are physically and emotionally ready. However, once you start it, then ensure that you see it through till the end. There will be instances when your child will wake up late at night and you will be tempted to use the sleep prop and put your child back to sleep. However, this will only waste away all the hard work you would have put in till now, and then you will have to start from scratch again. Additionally, prepare yourself to lose a little sleep initially. Therefore, I recommend to start this exercise on a night where it's acceptable to miss out on a little sleep. For instance, if you work during the weekdays, then it's better to start on a Friday. It is always a good idea to get your partner involved. Allow your partner to take over when the crying becomes completely intolerable. You can use this opportunity to distance yourself from the crying by taking a walk or a warm bath. Although it's advisable to reach the wait time of 10 minutes in 5 days and then carry on for 1 week, you can follow a more gradual approach if you feel this is too harsh. You can stretch it for 2 weeks instead of 1 and increase the wait time every alternate night instead of each night. However, you will get a much better response if you manage to do it in 1 week instead of 2 weeks. Finally, be prepared for a few relapses. Even after you've finished sleep training, your child may regress occasionally, especially when he or she is unwell or while traveling. You may have to start the process again, especially after illness, so you need to stay strong at this point too. Parents are generally concerned whether this crying will psychologically affect their child. Parents believe that it might have a negative impact on their child's trust in them and thus will negatively impact the child's sense of safety and security in the world. Furthermore, they think that a child might start to feel detached if the parents do not intervene immediately and allow a child to cry. However, this is refuted by child psychologists who have done extensive studies on children who are sleep trained this way. Some pediatricians further point out that crying does not have a negative impact, as children are allowed to cry for many other activities throughout the day. For instance, if your child insists to play with a knife, you will obviously refuse and not give in, irrespective of how much your child cries. At this stage, a child needs to be taught what's best for him or her and might cry during this process. However, this, as you know, is for the betterment of your child. So do not feel guilty about allowing your child to cry for 10 minutes during the night. Continue to give a lot of love and care at all other times, and it will not have any harm whatsoever. As I had mentioned at the start of this video, that crying it out is not the only method to sleep train a child. However, it is a very productive method where the child learns and adapts very quickly. Therefore, I will urge parents not to be afraid and give it a shot. However, even after trying it out for a week, if you feel that your child is not settling after 10 minutes and things haven't changed much, then this is the time to stop. Do not continue any further, as it will not work for your child. So what is the alternate solution? The alternate solution is to approach the child immediately when he or she begins to cry at night. But even in this case, you need to ensure that you do not use any sleep props, such as rocking or nursing, to put your child back to sleep. You can pat your child back to sleep and immediately leave the room as soon as your child has fallen asleep. The biggest drawback with this method is that it takes substantially longer to sleep train your child, maybe even months. You need to be prepared for that. However, if you feel that this approach suits you better, then there is nothing wrong with it. Stay calm and committed, and the results will begin to show. I hope you now have a better understanding of the crying it out method. The single biggest goal of sleep training is to encourage self-soothing skills. Your child needs to learn this is an important milestone. The long-term benefit of allowing your child to cry for a few minutes in the night is much more than the short-term goal of consoling your child for that moment. 10 minutes is supposed to be the golden time by which a child will settle down and learn to self-soothe. You need to wait for 10 minutes before intervening. Start with shorter durations of 3 minutes and progressively increase it to 10 minutes. Ensure that you continue with the wait of 10 minutes for at least 1 week. If your child resists even after 1 week of trying, then abandon this method and consider shifting to an alternate approach. Do not feel guilty at any point, and remember that this does not have any psychological impact on your child, irrespective of which method of sleep training you choose to follow. Finally, stay strong and committed to whichever method you choose to follow.